Hello, it's Burgess Taylor, and today we are adding bits to your pages. And the reason that I did this was I had a patron who has tried their hand at doodling, and she insists that she cannot draw, and she wants to add things to her journal pages. And there are other ways to add things to your journal pages other than drawing and coloring, watercoloring, mixed media. Well, don't want to say mixed media because what I'm going to do is a little bit of collaging and adding some bits to my journal pages without really doing much in the way of quote unquote art. And I say art like loosely, okay? So I gathered up some bits, things from magazines, things that people have sent me in Happy Mail, some stickers, things that came from the Flow book, things that came from Flow magazine, things that came from Everyday Ephemera. And of course, I pulled the sticker set out that didn't have any little R's, so I ended up having to get another sticker set. I guess I use a lot of little R's. So what I've decided to do with this is pull out a bunch of different things, see what I like, and there's some things have rhyme and reason, and some things have no rhyme or reason. It just is kind of what I like, and as I go. I had no real plan for this page except that it's Friday, and I had a color theme. I wanted some blues and greens and yellows, some happy colors, some relaxy kind of colors. I know that's not a word, y'all, but hey, you know, it's Friday. I pulled out a whole bunch of things, just random bits. Like I said, I decided I didn't like that color, so I put the little thing of flowers on there, and I couldn't find my good glue stick, so I ended up using the cheap glue stick. Now I use Mod Podge, I use glue stick, I use sometimes adhesive tape, double-sided sticky tape. I used to use some matte medium, but I'm out of matte medium right now, and it works pretty much the same way as matte Mod Podge. They're for me. I don't do any major mixed media. I rarely use acrylic. So I just, like I said, I pulled out a bunch of things that I liked. I wanted to use the bird. I ended up using the bird for Thursday's page. I liked a lot of things. Like there were a lot of images and a lot of words and a lot of quotes and things that I really liked. And I had a paper cutter. It broke, like seriously broke. And it's so much easier to cut a straight line with a paper cutter than it is with scissors. No matter how hard I try with scissors, my lines never end up straight unless I have a guide. So it's like my handwriting. So I decided to add a tip in. I wanted to add some stuff to the journal page, and I wanted to add a bit of different things. Now, I'm not really great at composition. I do sometimes better than others, which is generally the case with everything that I do. Sometimes I kick butt and take names, and other times not quite so much. For those of you that are watching this on Patreon, you're going to get this late Friday night, early Saturday morning. For those of you that are watching on YouTube, you should be getting this Sunday. I wanted to show how you can add art, little art, bits, and words to your journal pages without actually drawing. I have some Crayola Super Tips. I have some other markers that I'm going to use to do just a little bit of coloring. And for those of you who do have a water brush, you can use the water brush to add a little bit of extra. But you don't actually have to draw to add a little bit of marker or watercolor or anything like that. So I'm going to do a little bit of what is the basics for me. This is the very beginning of what I learned when I very first started doing the Faux Bonichi, and I didn't really have very many supplies. I had a bunch of old magazines. I had some crayons and some pencils and some Crayola Super Tips, markers and stuff like that from my daughter. she's an artist, and I had a big bin of all kinds of stuff left over, and a couple of little things because I had scrapbook, but I wasn't really one of those fancy scrapbookers. I used a lot of different things. Like, I actually went to Walmart and to Michael's and to Dollar Tree and Dollar General and any Kmart, anywhere I could find little bits of paper and stationery items and stickers and things without buying the super expensive stuff because I couldn't afford the expensive stuff. And I still do that. That craft colored paper with the writing on it, that came from Bare Minerals many moons ago, like a couple years ago, and I've kept quite a bit of it, and I used a lot of it, and there's not very much of it left, but every now and again I like to use it because it looks really cool on a page as a bit. There's a lot of little bits I'm going to add, little pieces of elements of paper, and it would have been great if I'd had a picture, but decided to make this pretty simple. Now, instead of the recipe, you could have added a picture on the back of that tip in. Instead of one of the quotes, you could have added a picture to the to what I'm going to add. It's not all that hard to add bits and pieces to your journal pages. If you don't, I'm using a marker now to do the edge of the heart where it's showing. That's just a Crayola Super Tip. I'm sorry that it's a little bit out of frame. That's going to get a little bit better. I have to keep checking. I'm new to how this is set up, and I just painted my craft table, y'all. Patreon's going to get the pictures. Y'all should get the pictures pretty soon. I'm going to share the pictures in the Journey with Burgess Facebook group tomorrow. So for those of you who follow me in here on YouTube and you're on Facebook, if you want to join the Journey with Burgess Facebook group, the link is down below. I really wanted to use that garden page, but I decided to wait. I'm probably going to use that for tomorrow's page, actually. I did end up using the little grumpy gardener because there were wasps out today, y'all. A wasp got in the house, and Mr. Rockstar got the fly swatter and the broom, and we kind of chased him out of the house. I didn't really want to kill him. I don't like killing them unless I have to. We have been spraying the nest that they keep building, though, because I don't want wasps. Yeah, you open the door and then they get in. I have a couple of years in a row ended up having trouble with ants. This year I've been lucky, knock on some wood here. But my daughter did have trouble with ants already, and she is very afraid of ants, poor baby. So this, I kind of decided to not do too much of the gardening stuff, decided to make this more about the self. Like I said, I ended up adding the bird to Thursday's page, and I really found sort of my groove with this page after I did things. I thought maybe I'd end up adding the tip in to the left-hand page. I changed that up. But I wanted to be able to, when I open the tip in, read the recipe, because those are really good recipes for morning smoothies. And I am trying to lose some weight, and there's a coffee smoothie, y'all. So on the really hot days, that coffee smoothie will come in handy for my brunch, because you can use that instead of a meal. That's a Winsor Newton thing that came in with that paint palette that I have, the travel kit. You can use bits and pieces from all different kinds of things. At first I thought about using that whole page, then I decided not to just use the quote and the cup, and later maybe I'll use the tea bag or pieces of the paper, the crane thing, for something else, maybe with Victor. I don't throw it away. I just decided not to use it for that page. And I end up, where I put things changes as I kind of look at the page. Like I said, I'm not all that great with composition. I'm still learning things. But I kind of do whatever I feel like doing, which is how it really is supposed to be anyway. Some pages look better than others. Some pages my composition looks really good. And some days I don't follow that rule of 3 or how your eyes are supposed to go visually. I just put whatever I want to on the page. And sometimes it looks good and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't matter to me. I got what I wanted on the page, and yeah. And I know as I grow as an artist, as I improve and things change, that will change. I will improve with composition. But sometimes I have no idea of what I'm doing. I just decide to kind of make the most of whatever it is I'm doing. And see, I put things around and then I'm looking and I'm like, what do I want? What do I want? What do I want to do? I've been doing that face and I finally finished it. I will show a picture of that as well in the Journey with Burgess Facebook group. I'm just still kind of gathering everything together. And I just did that big flip through, so don't want to bombard people with, you know. So I looked for the word self, and I looked for, I thought about that word embark, and I was going to use something else, and couldn't really find what I want. I need some more of those little word kind of things, but I've used a lot of the good ones already. So I decided to use the word yourself and just cut off your and use self. Because to me, with the meditation girl and the recipe and the quotes, it just felt more like a self kind of thing. So I did that. Now, when you're adding bits, like I said, you can use construction paper. You could use receipts. You could use ephemera from somewhere that you went, a ticket stub, a photo, a pamphlet. You could cut pictures out of a pamphlet. I'm using Mod Podge here because that stuff really won't stick very well. Some of the things won't stick very well with just a regular glue stick. Whenever I am using bits and pieces from my real life, like if we go on vacation, I have used parking tickets. When you go to the thing and they give you a little stub, and then you go back through the line, and they either give you a receipt and you keep part of your stub, or they give you, you know, thing to put on your dash. If there's anything that I can keep that has the name of the place that we went to, or it has a little map on it, or anything like that, I will end up using it in my journal pages. I think it's really fun to add bits and pieces from your day, or from your travels, or from your life. Things that you buy, things that you love. I've used the little tags that come on shirts, or dresses, or pants. I've used maps. I've used all different kinds of things. I have even used bits and pieces from paper grocery store bags as because it looks like craft paper and it works like craft paper, the paper bags. We used to use those when I was in school to cover books with. I really just use all different kinds of things, and what I wanted to do on this page was show a bunch of different ways that you could use things that you found. You can print a quote out from your home printer and do something that way. You can, I really wanted to put that in the center, but the way that I had fussy cut it, it wasn't going to look good that way. So I changed things up and decided to use the Grumpy Gardener, and like I said, we ended up with wasps in the house, and I went outside today to paint some boxes that my daughter gave me that I'm using for storage, and things are going pretty well. I'm getting stuff cleaned out bit by bit in this room. By the time I get it clean, hopefully we'll have the shed, and it's going to be a little while, but I'm trying to go through things that I do have so that whenever I do move out of this room and into the shed, which will be, like I said, a long while, because even when we get it, we're going to have to do work to it. Whenever I go look at things, whenever I buy things, the little direction thing that came with the new mouse that I got an ergonomic plug-in mouse because I was having trouble with the other kinds of mouses, the little USB ones, the wireless ones. When I was getting the Ipsy bags, I would put those in. When I got orders from Art Snacks, when I got my Art Snacks boxes, I used that. So, like I said, you can use any kind of thing. Comic strips from the newspaper, from magazines. You can use anything and everything that you want to use. It really doesn't matter. And now I'm going to take my super tip and I'm going to go around the coffee and make like a little saucer for the coffee. And I wanted to add little bits because I have that yellow, but I also wanted to combine the colors so that you have a little bit better. So I take this pretty shade of blue that's a Zig Clean color, but you could use the Super Tips. I just couldn't find that one right away, that blue one. I have a turquoise Super Tip, but I couldn't find it. I found the Zig right there. So you can do the same thing that I'm doing with the water brush with the Crayola Super Tips. So then I'm thinking, okay, I want to do a little bit more. See, I haven't really drawn anything. I took the marker and made a circular shape. Now I'm going to go around the edges of it with that to kind of make it look like the cup is rimmed. And then I'm thinking, okay, what else do I have? I cleaned my brush and I'm drying this up. You can wait for it to dry, but since I was doing the video and I knew the Mod Podge was going to take a while to dry, and so was the watercolor, I decided to go ahead and dry it so that it wouldn't take so long, so I could continue with the next part to show you what I have. One of the things that you can also do whenever you add bits is you can take a pen or a marker, a metallic pen, a jelly roll pen, one of the Uniball pens. I end up using the gold Uniball because I don't use gold a whole lot, but since I had the yellow and the green and turquoise, and I thought that gold in that washi tape, I thought this would be a really good way to add a bit of gold without it being overwhelming, because I am not a big fan of gold, except with I like it as accent. So I edged the coffee cup, went around the edges of the saucer, decided to go around the edges of a little bit more stuff like there. Debating on whether I want to go around anything else, and then I decide, yes, I'm going to add the little gold accents around the other quote, because it just adds a little extra touch and it makes it look really pretty to me. And this isn't drawing. This is just sort of following around the lines of what you've added in. And it makes it pop. It gives it a little, and I decided to do the words where it says love this, so that those words would pop. Because the meditation thing is something I really need to get to a point where it's an automatic thing. I love how it makes me feel after I meditate. And I love how when I eat healthy and I do what I'm supposed to be doing. See, like I'm showing you where I've added bits of ephemera, little pictures, things from, there's a playing card that's little bits of picture and little bits of ephemera that came in from somewhere, probably the Flow book. All different kinds of things. That's a whole bunch of things from a little brochure and a magazine. This came from all different kinds of magazines, and I just sometimes will add bits. It's like collaging for me, and this is my kind of collage right here. I tried to find a place to put the bird and never did find a place to put the bird on this page. I couldn't fit the bird anywhere I wanted, so I decided to use the bird for Thursday's page. I drew that face on Thursday, but I didn't journal my day, and I still wanted to journal my day. So I've been trying to practice different things every day, like practice something. And today was my day to practice a bit of other stuff, like this stuff. So I put all the pins in there simply because it was convenient. That's not actually where they go. But that pin case is on my list of things to go through and sort through. And so now I'm actually going to get everything together. I want to kind of clean up my area a little bit, and I need to journal. And I think right now I'm actually looking for the the pencil board that I got from Documented Journey, Bree made for me, and I ordered, and I couldn't find it. That's because it was sitting on the opposite side of a different desk. So I just decided to journal, and I don't normally journal this way, but this was sort of a note to myself, a reminder, hey, you know, self-care is important. You need to practice what you preach. You know, I was just writing to myself so that I could go back if I wanted to and read what I wrote, and because I'm going to go back to where that recipe is and remind myself to, hey, you know, don't forget to meditate. Don't forget to do your morning pages. Don't forget to do things that are fun. You know, be happy, be healthier you, be a more fit you, do the things that make you happy, that make you feel better. And that's what this page was about. I'm going to show you at the end of this the page that I did for Thursday that included the bird. I did do watercolor for that page except for the bird. We have a birdhouse in the backyard now attached to a big pole that we already had in the yard. One of those poles that used to have one of those humongous satellite dishes attached to the top of it. We got rid of all of them but that one, because that was the one we either wanted to put a birdhouse on or some kind of planter on, or a light fixture. We just, but Mr. Rockstar got a birdhouse from his mom and dad along with a weed eater for his birthday, and he put the birdhouse on there. He even got Victor out there, and Victor helped him put the bird seed in it. That's pretty much what I did for Thursday's page. I did that today after I finished this page, and you can see the microphone and the headset. I really enjoyed doing this, and if y'all have any questions, please feel free to put them below. I am not a professional at doing this, but I was asked, and I thought, hey, you know, it's been a while since I did this, and this is a really good way to add different kinds of things to your pages so that, you know, your pages aren't always the same thing. And I still have the coffee cup. Thanks, y'all. Big thanks to my patrons, and I hope that you enjoyed. Bye. Thanks. Don't forget to like and subscribe.